The crypto market is heavily being manipulated right now. And I'm not only talking about some of the craziest short positions we have ever seen from some of the people, because apparently Ethereum just had itself some breaking numbers. Because look at this. Speculators have built the largest ETH short position in history. But I'm mostly talking about the idea that Trump just made yet another announcement that completely moved the market on the short term. Again, just taking a look at it right now, the market doesn't really look very far up or very far down. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, nothing really happened. But as you can see, over the past, let's call it hour and a half or so, we went to roughly 2% on Bitcoin, and right now we're back up. And I'm basing it on, or I'm expecting it to be on this news right here. Trump will announce 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum on Monday, and most likely also this, China to impose 10 to 15% tariffs on US energy and vehicles on Monday. Just basically a little bit of a back and forward. Quite interesting though, if you ask me. But I will quickly add that it's a Sunday right now, depending on where you're at in the world, and it always tends to move a bit more significantly over on Sunday though. Meaning that the weekend, since I'm guessing the books are a bit drier, whenever something crazy like this moves out, to some extent, it just moves up a little bit more or down a little bit more than over on a Monday. A counter argument would be that on Monday, mostly institutions get back to trading, whereas on the weekend, they might take a little breather as well. But it keeps being funny to me that all this news in reality is in no way, shape, or form really actually bad for crypto. But if you take a look at it, this just flipped green like a second ago, but you can see this was very, very red last few hours. A lot of altcoins dropped pretty significantly, like 5% or so down over the past hour here. And then I really keep asking myself, really, for what? What is causing all these coins to move down? When I look at the comment section, and I've done so just now, I really keep realizing that the optimism is down significantly, but it also comes with the territory. And to give you guys the broader story there, every single time the crypto market moves sideways or sideways with a slight downward bias, it's happening in the exact same way. I can very easily see it in views. I can very easily see it in comments or likes. Every single one of my metrics, first of all, you just see a lot less engagement, but more importantly, it becomes a lot more negative or so. And we saw this back in, I'm going to say May of last year also, just in times where we just kind of go sideways, not really too much happening. And the funny thing is, these, in hindsight, will be the best opportunities to get yourself set up for the longer duration, get yourself in the right position. But most of the time, this is where people also get most of their fear. And before we move on, another project we got into recently, Academic Labs, actually just made themselves a pretty massive announcement as well, as they'll be listing on Bitpanda tomorrow, which obviously is the largest exchange in Europe, and a couple of different tokens that got listed on there had a pretty interesting spike afterwards. But if you're wondering, Academic Labs is the 𝗕𝗓𝗓 ecosystem powered by Universal Knowledge Data Layer and Education AI agents. Now that might sound kind of difficult, but the simpler version of it is there's a whole massive $200 billion online educational market, and they're trying to tokenize as much of that as possible on, or I should say within their ecosystem. And simply put, AI agents have been one of the most trending topics quite recently. They're trying to make the best of it all inside of their platform or within their ecosystem. And like I said, they've got a pretty massive Bitpanda listing coming up, with the recent numbers also looking quite interesting. It's up like 140% in a week, while most of the market has been moving down. And I guess they're just crossing off all the things over on their white paper, so I gotta give to them, they're doing what they promised. Anyway, to continue on, it's been a weird couple of days, man. I mean, on the one hand, we've got some of the craziest meme coin activity in history, with, for example, Binance Smart Chain just going absolutely nuts. I want to make a whole dedicated video on some of the stuff that's been going on over there. It's just so much shenanigans. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. But also, it seems that, right, and this is, by the way, more and more celebrities making coins, but it seems that the Trump game plan is basically to make things odd and wild and quite negative on the very, very short term. Again, Ansem here had to take saying, Trump is nuking all the markets the first year of his presidency. This is not confirmed. This is just one person's theory, but we're just listening in, right? And then we'll give a response after. Trump nuking all the markets the first year of his presidency, then onshoring all jobs to the US and forcing Powell to nuke rates going into 2026 to save the economy while passing legislation for the US government to buy Bitcoin so he can claim he made America great again is quite the storyline. Now, this is not necessarily what he's doing, it's just that he could be on this course in the sense of how can you be, and I think about this sometimes, how can you be the greatest of heroes, right? Well, when there's a problem or a very dire problem, there's a dire need for a hero, let's just call it like that. If there's a problem that needs to be fixed, it's easier to be a hero, right? But what if there's not really as big a problem, or at least how do you get to be the best hero? Well, I guess only when you create the problem, so you're the one with the best solution, if you get my drift. So it does make a little bit of sense. Again, I'm not going to state that he is going to actually go ahead and do it this way. I'm just stating that right now, the market is in a very, very interesting spot with whenever Trump says something, which are all quite heavy statements, us seeing some very significant moves. And also throughout the day, I was reading some other interesting stuff, by the way. This is just for all crypto holders, really, partially Bitcoin holders, people who are just generally speaking interested in cryptos, I guess, progress. One thing I thought was quite cool was that there was an article, we can't see it right now, but there was an article that basically stated that I believe Oxford has been battling or has been finding a new breakthrough in quantum teleportation, something like that. And now the co-founder of Tether, USDT, came out and said prediction. Quantum computing is still very far away from any meaningful risk of breaking Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin cryptography, really. Quantum-resistant addresses will eventually be added to Bitcoin before there's any serious threat. So let's just say we get another 10 steps further or so, then the guys, let's just call it, quote-unquote, running Bitcoin, will most likely figure out a way to just beat the system again for the next, who knows, right, couple of decades. All people alive and that have access to their wallets will move Bitcoin into new quantum-resistant addresses, and any Bitcoin in old lost wallets, at that point, at some point in the future, maybe it's going to take 3 decades, but maybe it's going to take more than that, who knows. But eventually some of those, maybe it will never happen. I'm just stating a logical, I guess, continuation here. At some point, most likely we'll either get hacked or we'll find some sort of vulnerabilities or some sort of issues. And so maybe at that point as well, Satoshi's wallet also might get hacked or something like that. Again, this could still be multiple decades away. It could also be that it never happens, but it's an interesting prediction. It's something kind of funny to give some thought to, because I wouldn't say this is one of those impossible ideas. Regardless, Michael Saylor has also been posting more and more and more, and it's kind of funny how most likely he's just been buying more Bitcoin here then, as the Bitcoin price has been down significantly, and it's quite peculiar that indeed from his recent purchases the price is also down significantly, but it marks one of my earlier stated points of if you just keep on buying, right, and just close your eyes and don't think about it too much, this is not financial advice, you usually are fine. It's only on the short term when you start panicking or thinking, oh, should I. The only thing you have is this replacement cost theory where maybe at some point you could have actually better bought something else or so, or you could have sometimes better sold to buy back cheaper, etc., etc. But over a prolonged period of time, I think most people will be absolutely fine. In this case here, if you look at the dotted line, right, this is, I believe, Michael Saylor's average price. It was actually down from May 2022 all the way towards, let's just say, November or so of 2023. And all of a sudden afterwards, it took a mega push, or it got a mega push. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly put that in the back of people's heads. In this case here, though, it seems we're just basically pump and dumping based on Trump announcements, as we're already up $1,000 again or so from that bottom. About 1% in Bitcoin, most likely for altcoins significantly more. XRP just went to 230, right now back to 236, so that is definitely nice to see. And I will state again, if you're also looking to trade crypto, a couple of links for that are down below. And that's about it for this little crypto update.